The film opens with an egg yolk being injected with a strange green fluid. Almost instantly, the yolk splits in two, forming a perfect duplicate. The scene shifts to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where a star bears the name Elizabeth Sparkle. Once a celebrated TV personality, Elizabeth was the face of the hit aerobics show. Sparkle it up, but fame is fleeting. The adoring crowds that once followed her have disappeared, leaving her in the background of an industry that no longer values aging women. The fall from grace. At 50 years old, Elizabeth fights to hold on to her career, but the industry is ready to cast her aside. One day at the studio, she finds the women's restroom out of order and sneaks into the men's room instead. Hiding in a stall, she accidentally overhears a conversation between Harvey, the network president, and his colleagues. They plan to fire her, believing her time is up. Later, over its lunch, Harvey makes it official. As he messily devours shrimp, he tells Elizabeth she's too old for television. Driving home in a daze, Elizabeth watches in horrors and her billboard is being taken down. Distracted, she crashes her car in a violent accident. At the hospital, a nurse examines her, then discreetly slips a flash drive into her jacket pocket. "You're a perfect candidate," the nurse whispers before sending her home. That night, Elizabeth plays the flash drive's contents. A sleek, almost hypnotic voice introduces the substance, a miraculous product that allows users to transform into a younger, more beautiful version of themselves for 7 days at a time. Lonely, desperate, and longing for her past, Elizabeth dials the number. She receives an address in response. Rebirth. Following the instructions, Elizabeth arrives at a hidden facility, down a dark, forgotten alley. Inside a deposit box, she finds a vial of glowing green liquid. Back home, Elizabeth injects herself. Her body convulses violently, and a gaping slit opens on her back. From the wound, a younger version of herself emerges, radiant, perfect, everything Elizabeth once was. The young woman stitches up the wound and applies a stabilizing fluid to keep both bodies alive. She chooses a new name. Sue. A second life. Reborn, Sue quickly enters the industry and charms Harvey, landing a brand new TV show. For the first time in years, Elizabeth, now living as Sue, feels alive again. But there's a catch. After 7 days, Sue melts back into Elizabeth, leaving the older woman alone, weak, and trapped in her real body. The contrast is unbearable. Elizabeth's life as herself feels empty, while Sue thrives. Soon, Elizabeth starts breaking the rules, pushing her time as Sue past the safe limits by extracting extra fluid air from her own body. This decision has horrifying consequences. One morning, Elizabeth wakes up to find her right hand aged and withered, a grim warning from the substance. When she calls the hotline, she's told, "Balance must be maintained. Sue is not a separate person. She is you." The collapse. As Sue flourishes, Elizabeth's real body begins to rot away. Sue, disgusted by Elizabeth's self-destruction, starts to resent the woman she came from. Over the next 3 months, Sue drains Elizabeth's body mercilessly, reducing her to a rotting husk. One night, Sue attempts one final extraction. But instead of the usual glowing green liquid, she pulls out a black necrotic sludge. Panicked, she calls the hotline. The response is brutal. She has reached her limit. Sue must return to Elizabeth permanently. The breaking point. Knowing that she can never become Sue again, Elizabeth prepares a final injection, a black serum meant to erase Sue forever. But at the last moment, she hesitates. Sue wakes up. Seeing Elizabeth's horrifically deformed body, she snaps. In a fit of rage, Sue attacks. She slams Elizabeth's face into a mirror, over and over, until there is nothing left. With Elizabeth dead, Sue races to the studio for her biggest opportunity yet, the New Year's Eve special. The final transformation. As Sue prepares for the live broadcast, her body begins to disintegrate. Her teeth loosen and fall onto the floor. Her nails detach. Her left ear slides off, landing in the sink. Terrified, she rushes home, searching for a cure. In a desperate act, she injects herself with the last remaining activator fluid, a formula meant only for an emergency use. But instead of restoring her, the serum spawns something unnatural. Monstro alla Sue. Sue's body twists and mutates, transforming into a horrific mass of flesh, limbs, and sagging skin. Elizabeth's old face is embedded in its back. Gasping for air, panicked, the creature, Monstro alla Sue, tries to maintain its illusion. It tapes a photograph of Elizabeth's face onto itself, dresses in Sue's clothes, and stumbles onto the stage. At first, the audience watches in stunned silence. Then, the photo peels away, revealing the grotesque, pulsing mass underneath. Screams fill the studio. Harvey, in a blind panic, attacks Monstro with a mic stand. He even blows its head off, but it regenerates instantly. And arm detaches, spraying blood across the horrified crowd. Children scream as the studio descends into chaos and gore. The end of Elizabeth Sparkle. The creature stumbles into the street, its flesh melting into a formless heap. From the pulsating mass, Elizabeth's true, decayed form emerges, barely human, barely alive. With her last bit of strength, she crawls toward her Walk of Fame star. She gazes up, imagining golden sparkles raining down. A final illusion in next episode. If you've watched my video completely, please let me know what changes I should make and what type of movies I should explain that you liked. Thank you. If you like recaped movies, then subscribe Recaps You for more interesting recaped stories.